Hi guys, so it is important to remember the differences between Northern Ireland and Great Britain post-Brexit. Northern Ireland is still part of the single market, so while it can export without friction into Great Britain, it can also do so into the EU. Some of the issues that Northern Ireland has been able to avoid are causing disruption in Great Britain instead. One such issue is haulage. According to reports, Britain is going to face massive disruption over the summer due to the lack of lorry drivers. It's estimated about 100,000 have quit, retired, or are just not operating in Britain anymore. Some of this is down to the pandemic, but most of it seems to be due to Brexit. The heads of organisations that represent the haulage industry have been pleading with Boris Johnson's government since last year to do something about this, but of course their requests have been listened to just as much as those of fishermen and farmers. Sticking with farming for a moment, due to the new immigration rules brought in post-Brexit, it means that there will be a shortage of fruit and vegetable pickers, and this isn't helped by the reduction in lorry drivers, which are an essential part of the supply chain. Because much of the physical work in food processing and warehousing is done by immigrants, many of which are from the EU, these new immigration rules have made these issues more acute. Supporters of this channel have sent me images of empty supermarket shelves around Britain, something that isn't really being picked up on in the media. Apart from food that actually does get into Britain, a lot is still rotting in warehouses due to the lack of lorries available to ship it to supermarkets. So supermarket shelves are empty not just because workers are not available to pick the fruit and vegetables. What is actually picked is not fit for sale because there aren't enough drivers to actually deliver it on time. It may take some high-profile story to force the government to take action. A farmer who provides strawberries for the Wimbledon tennis tournament has said that there could be a shortage this year. Perhaps that could raise awareness in the media. James Mee, a farmer from Peterborough, said, and I quote, "We've been told by the haulier company we have used for years that they can only come and pick up our fruit once a week. But the fruit only have a 5-day shelf life, so they need picking up every day. If we can't get our fruit to the supermarkets, that is massively significant." Richard Burnett, the chief executive of the Road Haulage Association, told the media that Britain was weeks away from gaps in shelves and this could be very serious. His organisation carried out a survey of about 800 companies and all of them were operating with fewer drivers than they would have liked. He said, and I quote, "We're saying to the government that they must put heavy goods vehicle drivers on the shortage occupation list urgently. We need to get a pool of labour quickly because we cannot train them quickly enough and we need to plug this gap. We'll have British heavy goods drivers going on summer holiday soon, which means no backfill at all. So the problem is only going to get worse." A representative from the Cold Chain Federation expects a boom and bust when it comes to deliveries and availability. There will be times when there is sufficient supply, but there will also be periods of scarcity. This is expected to remain until demand and supply balance, but supply is at serious risk due to the factors that I spoke of earlier. The Frozen Foods Federation, the Cold Chain Federation, the British Meat Producers Association, the British Beer and Pub Association, the Food and Drinks Federation, and finally the Federation of Wholesale Distributors have all written a letter to Boris Johnson's government demanding action, and they say in the letter, and I quote, "We firmly believe that intervention from the Prime Minister or the Cabinet Office is the only way we will be able to avert critical supply chains failing at an unprecedented and unimaginable level. Supermarkets are already reporting that they are not receiving their expected food stocks and as a result there is considerable wastage. Unfortunately, almost 50 tons of food is being thrown away per week because of this, according to reports." Two things seem to be creating a headache for the industries affected here. A change in the tax law and the fact that the haulage industry is mostly staffed by foreign drivers, those from the EU. It must be remembered that full checks are on goods moving from Great Britain into the EU via Dover, for example. On the European side, these checks have been in place since the beginning of the year. This has meant many drivers not bothering with the UK export market due to this hassle. However, a potentially bigger problem is on the horizon. The UK at the moment is not carrying out full checks. Trucks are being basically waved through ports like Dover. So when these checks do start to be implemented, it will add extra strain, something the haulage industry has warned Boris Johnson's government about. The response from the relevant department will provide little comfort, it said, and I quote, to discuss heavy goods vehicle driver shortages and possible solutions around recruitment and retention. Most of the solutions are likely to be commercial and from within the industry, with progress already being made in key areas such as testing and hiring, and a big focus towards improving pay, work conditions and diversity. On one of the biggest stumbling blocks, the points-based immigration system, it said, it makes clear employers should focus on investing in our domestic workforce, especially those needing to find new employment, rather than relying on labour from abroad. As I've said before on this channel, during the Brexit transition period, the Tory government will offload responsibility onto industry and wash their hands of the situation. Michael Gove last year told businesses to get ready for Brexit, but they, like the farmers and fishermen, have been thrown under a bus by Brexiteers. The haulage industry will probably have to shift away from reliance on foreign drivers, but the shift to British ones will be expensive and time-consuming. These issues will eventually be resolved, but there will be a huge headache for producers, haulage, warehousing and supermarkets until that happens. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?